You can talk, Stubbs.
Are we live?
Yes.
You're the one who pushed the button, Stubbs. Holy crap.
I did push the button, but what happened was I clicked the button, then the screen went blank and the screen came back. So welcome to Midweek Gaming, episode number 70. We're back once again with the Renegade Master. There you go, Removal Sanity. But yeah, back once again. It's bloody hot in the UK. Been 21 degrees today, and it's going to go up to about 32 on Friday.
So a very weak Texas breeze.
Yeah, it is. But yeah,
somebody not me is gonna have to do the math for that, because to me that sounds like below freezing. So I don't know what the hell you're doing.
I don't know. But yes, I'm going to few shout outs to the people who've been listening on podcast networks. People have been listening in India to Midweek Gaming. Shout outs to one of them people. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. But yeah, this week we have Luke Steele on. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
Good, thanks. Luke's filling in, and he was actually booked as a guest, but there's a few people not here at the minute, so he's our fill-in man for Midweek Gaming.
Chad, he's our filler. Yeah, he's our
Whether he likes it or not, might we add.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. You've been playing much recently, Luke? Or you've been too busy podcasting on showcases?
I'm trying to think if I have been playing. I've been kind of flitting between quite a few different things, so I've not really settled and played like one thing. So I've been, I don't know, the Starfield stuff made me remember that I have Star Citizen, so I updated that and gave that a whirl again to see what they've done, in the past year. The answer is quite a bit, but also not a whole lot, at least on the server. So I've been doing that, and then just playing a lot of demos. So I played the Cult of the Lamb demo, Midnight Fight Express, it's been about it really. So
are they nice? Good games?
Yeah, they're both great.
Good
both very really good.
Good to hear. And yes, at BMG, we seem to have one of the smallest midweek gaming crews ever. Yes, we have done 4 people before though, but it's not very often. It's not. Removal Sanity.
Hello.
Thanks for coming back on.
So much appreciated. Just so that everybody knows, it's unfortunately Mr. Tushi. He's got a big early delivery, so he can't make it today. Vijay, unfortunately, still a little bit unwell, and we believe Animated has having a very lovely snooze. So depending on how it goes, he might come in later on. If not, we wish him well, and we wish his sweet dreams. So snoozing away. But yes, I've been much appreciated for having me on. Of course, it's great to have Luke back on. For those of you who've been catching up with the podcast, he did try to come on the last show, but quickly got booted out for Indie instead. But hopefully his internet's much better now.
It's all good.
That's good.
That's the kill switch, Indy.
Probably.
Indy's not in chat yet. Don't worry, the kill switch is coming.
Yeah, it depends on if I mention Silk Song. If I do, then I get to stay.
That's it. His ears. That's it. Burning. It'll be in about 30 seconds. And of course, we have the beautiful and wonderful Mr. Cerebral Paul, who is the only one on camera today. So I expect everyone to be looking at him. Him just for that alone.
Well, no, he's put his hat on now. He was showing off his hair a minute ago before we went.
Yeah, but I know you guys get all jealous when I show off my hair, so
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't have to keep going. You have to go one up us, Come on.
So let's see. So let's see. I've been playing a lot. Let's see. Even today, I didn't an Ambi stream today because I hadn't done one on Monday because I wasn't feeling it. And then I finished up Little Hope, the Dark Pictures anthology. I've actually been doing the demo for Naraka, Blade Point, that comes out next week on Game Pass, that we all saw the video for this last weekend. And
thoughts, come on. Don't leave it.
It's actually pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. I don't know how good I'm going to be at it in the full game, but it seems pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. And I've been doing a lot of stuff. I'm bouncing around a lot. I've been in a horror game mode. So all these games that are coming out, I'm thrilled because it's a horror lover's dream. Horror as in scary, not as in the other kind. Get your minds out of the gutter.
Yeah.
Get your minds out of the gutter, people. Yeah. So there is that. So because I've been doing Resident Evil Village for the first time, and I like that game, but there certainly is a lot of wandering around trying to find where the heck you're at, type, or where you need to go. It's like, oh my God.
You're speaking Luke Steele's language. He loves the horror games. He does.
Yeah, so it's a great time. It's a golden age of horror.
Oh yeah, we got so much coming out.
Yeah,
Plague Tale Requiem. I'm looking forward to that. I actually did hit up Plague Tale again. I'm still stuck on the same second to the last level I was stuck on before. Yeah, we need some more accessibility options in this game. Maybe someday.
Cough. Cough.
Yeah, cough, cough. Yeah. But yeah, so I've been having fun doing that, like I said, and that's about it. So yeah, just trying to survive.
Not much doing, just sitting there, relaxing, just, doing little things.
Yep.
And apparently, Masuki's he's saying Paul is today loud and clear, which is good.
Oh, you want me to turn my mic down or back it way here like this and I can talk
No,
like
that's
this?
perfect.
You're doing
There you go.
Right, I'll do a few shout outs in chat. BMG, Darth Praxis, going down the list. Masuki, thanks for popping in. Warwick Gaming Channel, thanks for popping in. So, it's more of a conversation about the Xbox Bethesda Showcase, and if you watched it, I didn't get a chance to watch Extended yet, but will at some point.
Oh dear.
Obviously, the main show. Now, I want to talk first about how did people think the show? Because obviously they've done a different tactic this year. Because last year, I believe, based on feedback that Microsoft gathered, this is what I've heard. They gathered feedback of socials, etc., and people wanted games that were coming out, not a whole roadmap. So within the next 12 months. But if you also notice, this is one thing I did notice on the graphic. Removal Sanity noticed it as well. In the bottom right-hand corner, they did specify at the bottom, even though it is within the next 12 months, they did specify targeted right down the bottom corner. Because obviously a delay happens, it happens, doesn't it? You can't hold them to it, but they've actually specifically put it in there. So I think the show overall, giving people games that are coming within the next 12 months, was great. But what do you think, Luke, to this? Rather than provide a whole roadmap for the next 5 years.
Let me just throw out real quick, because I've had, the Stubbs has seen me have to correct this a few times on the old Twitterverse this week. Last year, they only went out 18 months. Last year was the first year they gave us a windowed view. They didn't give us the whole roadmap either.
Sorry, I was thinking about the Fable year. Sorry.
Yeah,
no,
that was the year previous. The Fable year was the year previous. Last year, Fable did not show up, and they only did 18 months out. I actually had to post an article proving this fact to somebody who wanted to argue with me about it. Do not argue with me about it. No.
Why? I wanted to argue, okay? It's my job.
Right, then. Thank you for that, Paul. You're correct. So,
yeah.
Luke, what do you think about them going to the 12-month period, not the 18-month period? There you
go. Yeah, it's difficult because they're kind of they were always kind of damned if they did and damned if they didn't, so to speak. I think the one I don't mind it. I think it's weird to do it in a potentially weak 12 months. I mean, obviously they've got Starfield, REDFALL, Forza from a first party perspective. Yeah. But I think they possibly did that one in response to, as you say, the past couple of shows where people wanted more gameplay, and you can only really do more gameplay with potentially the games that are coming out sooner. that are more advanced in development, and also because they'd shown projects that were a long way off. I mean, the likes of Fable and Perfect Dark, clearly when they were announced, they are miles away. They're not even close. So so I understand why they did it. I don't think they should have waited until the opening of the show to do that. If they'd have announced that in advance to manage expectations, I think that would have been better. Because at least then you're not going into it thinking, we might see, some of these games we know about that are further out, or that, we might get big announcements of, games from their studios that are in development, but, they haven't talked about before. So that was a bit hype deflating, to be honest. But that's, that presumably they will learn from that as well, because I think the thing is, for any of these shows, there's a balance. You have to get a balance of stuff. So you have to get people excited for the short-term stuff, which is what they're trying to do, and that's great. And you have to show people gameplay, which is great. But equally, you should show some stuff that will get people excited about the future of your platform, even if it's a bit, long. So and then there's the other side of it where they, like some of the future announcements that they made at the show, like the Kojima one, is really cool because it's
Kojima was the one thing that we're looking at like a 4 to 5 year window before we see anything.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of a pointless announcement because I mean I get why they did it again because it's a big deal.
Do you think that was impressed the Japanese market as well, or not?
Well, I mean, any of these. Yeah, that was actually for me personally, that announcement. I think to be honest,
you didn't hear Phil right before that go, "This is for Luke." It was in the background. You could barely hear it.
I showed him my avatar, and then he was like, "I'm going to do something for you, Luke. Don't worry." No, I mean, I think that whole segment, because that whole segment was about, Japanese developer / publisher support for the platform. I think all of that is not really targeted at the Japanese market. It's really got very little to do with the Japanese market. It's just that, if you think about the things that they announced, so Persona, Kojima, these are all massive Western games more than anything. Yeah. Persona is very popular in Japan, but it's very popular in the West. So I don't think any of those things are going to help them in terms of, Japanese consumers picking up Xboxes. I mean, they're doing a little better there anyway. But what it does show is that, more Japanese developers and publishers are coming on board to the platform, which may influence other Japanese developers and publishers to think, okay, well, maybe we should bring X, Y, or Z to this platform. So, but yeah, I mean, the Kojima announcement was just weird because it was just like, it was absolutely nothing. It was that they're working together. So I'm happy that that's happening, and I'm really looking forward to whatever he's making with them. But it kind of felt really out of place because if you're going to announce something, at least drop a CG trailer, at least drop some visual, some indication of what you're doing.
I honestly think that partnership was that new. I honestly think they had no time beginning. Yeah,
it could be. It could have been only very recently actually properly signed. And therefore, the only time that they could announce it, and they just thought, well, we'll garner some future excitement, some credit.
I think that has that weight to it because do you think of it? Normally, Kojima likes to hint. There may be obscure hints, but he likes to hint. And if you follow his Twitter channel, there was no hint. So I think that actually does lend weight to what you two have been saying because it is literally like, oh, by the way, I'm working with Xbox. Bye. I'm like, well, hey, what?
Yeah. So that's cool. I mean, I'm sure we'll get on to the rest of the show and what we thought of it. But I just think in terms of their focus, I totally understand why they did it, and I'm not trying to criticize for the sake of criticizing. I just think at big shows like this, you have to have the balance of stuff that's coming out in the short term, 12 to 18 months, and also stuff that, you're excited about a couple of years from now. And I think next time, I would hope that they would just get it, hit the Goldilocks formula and get it kind of just right, and get both of the things in there.
I have a counter for that when it's my turn. I have a counter for that, actually.
You go for it.
All right. So here's what I think. One, they could have done that, but two, I think they did the tighter window one, because look at how much stuff is dropping in the next 12 months. That's just what they showed us. 50 titles. 50 titles. Think about that. And that doesn't count the normal stuff that's going to be hitting on and off of Game Pass over the next year as well. Plus, one of the reasons they may not have wanted to look that farther out, and you'll notice they didn't tend to give exact dates at this point either. It was like winter 2022 or first quarter 2023. They learned from last time they didn't want to give exact dates because everybody's going to hold them to those darn dates, So, but I also think, and what's his name? Matt Booty spoke to this in another interview. He said the release calendar is actually becoming an issue. It's getting to be so crowded, they don't know where to put stuff. So one of the reasons I don't think they would have wanted to put off or look too far out, one, if they say that it's going to come out 2023, it may get pushed to 2024 just because they're getting to the point to where all these studios are coming online and ready to go. Where do we put all this stuff? So I can see why they wouldn't have wanted to go too far out and get people hyped for games that may be pushed off an additional year or so. And this is all, and remember, Phil spoke about this last year. It's going to take a few years to get over all this COVID crap and all the issues that it has caused. And so I think they're still in that mode. So they need to be careful what they say and how they say it, because as a community, we're going to hold them to it, whatever they say.
Well, actually, you made a good point, because also, if as you said, lots of people have been affected by the COVID aspect, which means they may all get a big chunk of games in one go over a 2 or 3 month period, because everyone's caught up and now finishing at the same time. So that kind of lends a bit of weight to what you're saying as well. And what you said is like, oh crap, we've got a space of 6 months where we've got almost every game for the last 2 years about to come out.
It already looks like from what we saw in the show, it looks like October is going to be cramped. October is going to have stuff coming out all over the place. Yeah, we're not going to have time to play a lot of those games, man.
January, or I suppose October is, but January is normally a dead month, and actually April is normally a little bit of a dead month. March, April. I'm surprised they're not.
Well, see, we don't know if January is, because that falls under first quarter. That may be when we see Starfield. That may be when we see Redfall, plus whatever else they have in line. And those are only the ones they're talking about. There's all these other third-party publishers that are going to be pushing stuff out too. It's it's almost becoming. Everybody says, "Well, there's nothing coming out." The end of 2022. Trust me, it's not like they've been canceled. They're coming. So it's like, wow. There was something else I had in my mind too. I think I lost my track.
Sorry.
Shoot. Oh, it's okay. Because you know me, I like to talk about this stuff.
We'll catch back up in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, basically. I know what it was. Also, Bethesda, what's his name? Todd Howard said something that I've been trying to say, and I've been pushed back by other people who know people at Microsoft, that they are still working. They're not all back in the office yet. They're still working remotely, which is still causing issues for the development team. They're not all back in the office. They're kind of half and half, or some of them not even that far. So it's not like they're not back to normal yet. Heck, I don't even think they know what normal is going to be in a year. Because they're still trying to. Yeah. So to me, that still holds weight. That they're still not. Yes, they can do stuff remotely, but it doesn't. I understand I haven't been a game developer, but being a PC guy and working in office areas, when you're trying to work on stuff, it's hard to do it when you're not in the same room. I've done a lot of remote help for people. It's a pain in the butt. You know,
Yeah, you can actually take control of a lot of PCs now. You can actually,
yeah, but still, it's easier to
those
have
aspects.
those.
Oh.
It's easier to be talking and showing and seeing the same thing when you're right there in the same room. There's a different energy to it.
Oh,
You know?
without a doubt. And I think the biggest thing, as someone who works PCs and is working remotely and in the office, I'm finding that a lot of people, it's almost like the genie's out of the box. The
Yeah.
benefits of working at home, it's really hard to let go of that now. And a lot
Right.
of people now, and a lot of offices now are like, they've still managed
You
to
know.
be progressive, be productive.
Yeah.
Do we really need these big offices
Right.
when we could probably cut it down to half and maybe do a migrated in the office, out the office sort of situation?
And also that's an individual person thing too, because I live by myself or I live with a roommate, so it'd be easier for me to close the door and shut myself off to the world and focus on stuff in here. But if you're somebody who lives at home with a family, you got kids going to school, coming from school, maybe you got a kid still at home. So even though maybe if the sitter or the spouse is there to take care of the kid, you've still got those distractions going on. So maybe some people don't. Yeah,
canceling headphones.
but like I said, it's a person to person thing. Not a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. So some businesses are going to have to balance that. Do you want to work at home or do you want to work in the office and be flexible that way?
And that's why I think that's the genie in the box. Flexibility has now been pushed out. They've seen the benefit of it,
right?
Both company and staff. And I don't think that genie is going to come. I don't think going back to everyone's working in the office 5 days a week, 7 days a week.
Yep.
For the next,
but you do have guys like Elon Musk going, no, you got to come back to the office 40 hours a week.
You very much do. Yeah. So there is all dependent about the workforce. But in terms of certain jobs, you can't just sit in the office. That's the irony, as you rightly said. There is that,
Yep.
If you're lucky enough to be able to do work remotely, congratulations. Some jobs are not physically viable for that.
Real quick, hey, back from the dead. Remember, now you're in a channel where I have mod controls again back, so play nice. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Yesterday on the show I was on, he said something about pineapple. I immediately put him on timeout. I made it fair. Said one of you all can unban him. So that's my take.
So you think? You generally think it was? You think there is a little?
And as far as they should have told people the window time beforehand. I'd been saying beforehand. In fact, I know I said it on this show that the previous year they had gone 18 months. So that's what I was looking at. I was actually surprised they dropped it down to 12. But I expected 18. I didn't expect a wide open, here's a little trailer of something you're going to see in 2027. I'm like, and at my age, if I start looking at trailers for 2027, I'm just going to assume I'm going to be dead by then. So,
That is a blue. If you start that, I'll raise you from the dead if I have to. Don't you start that.
Especially, I'm not dying before Starfield comes out and I got time to play it. So. And then there's the whole set of Star Wars games and stuff that we didn't see anything of, by the way. That's why I'm upset. Didn't see any Star Wars crap for the whole show. Okay, I'm just saying.
You was looking for Forever Dark.
The Star Trek, the Star Trek game and all that stuff, Oh, talk about the noise coming from. Yeah, sorry guys, nothing I can do about that. Sorry. Deal with it. No. So there you go. There's my view. I thought it was a good show. I do. I thought it was I'd give it an 8.5. Because I'm not going to downscore it because the games they showed were games I don't like, because that's just not fair, or that I'm not into, I should say. Because just because I'm not into it doesn't mean it's not a good thing to see. And they showed what everybody was saying. We don't want trailers, we want gameplay. We don't want trailers, we want gameplay. They showed you gameplay. Now you're complaining that it's not the gameplay you wanted. Stop it. Okay.
In a relationship, then, what do you think between the showcase and the extended? Did you watch the extended showcase?
Yeah, I did watch the extended showcase. They closed it with a great piece from the Ukraine from the Stalker 2 people.
That was a hitter. Oof.
Yeah, what made me the saddest thing about that for me was the comments I saw in the chat during the roll. I'd be like, oh, I got to close chat or I'm going to yell at somebody.
Yeah, ignore that. I also was quite surprised that they dropped a few different games in, and they also threw in a little bit of the ID Xbox kind of like quick fire in there.
Yeah.
So besides just like discussions, discussions and interviews with the developers. So that was nice. And I kind of think we had a chat with Indy about this on the last show. Was that seemed the case? It was like, is it just going to be devs, or are they going to throw in a little bit more in terms of games and other games as well, which they seemed to did.
Well, by the way, I want everybody to realize that having the devs in a separate show like that was a direct response to last year's complaints. Everybody's going, we don't want to see the devs talk. We just want to see gameplay. Put the devs in a separate thing. Okay, that's exactly what they did. They did exactly what the loudmouth player base asked for.
Well,
so
can we put another little tick box, at least for me and Indy? Can we have a little separate showcase for the ID Xbox games, please? So we can give them.
I'm actually surprised they didn't. I'm actually surprised they didn't give like 5 minutes or so to ID at Xbox.
It was a bit quick for me. A little longer for the indie.
And maybe they're going to do another show that's going to focus on the indie side. So
the thing is, though, it wouldn't have hurt idea Xbox to put an indie sizzle reel in the main show. Really wouldn't have hurt them.
No, it wouldn't have hurt them at all, and I'm not sure why they didn't. Except for maybe they had all this other stuff and they wanted time constraints, because they usually
90 minutes. It's getting longer.
Well, but that for whatever, because remember they were working as though E3 was still going on. All of this setup was still as though they were still doing E3, even though they could have stretched it. But yeah, they usually do give ID at Xbox a little more focus, and I'm not sure why they didn't this year for whatever reason. So we'll have to see what happens.
Would have been again. You could be right. Maybe they're going to do a little snippet further in the year and go. Actually, they might get their own little show further in the year. I don't know, but it would have been nicer just for that. A little bit of love to them. But you enjoyed the interviews. You enjoyed me. I've said previous years, I like the interviews. I find them interesting when the developers are interesting, and they didn't. It's not like previous shows where the developer came on and looked like they were bored out of their mind talking about their game. These guys were actually excited about their games and wanted to share the information. I mean, last year we had some really dud interviews. I don't even think it was this show, but I know one of the shows, maybe it was one of the Twitch shows that, man, you just wanted to jump through the thing and like throttle somebody. It was like a monotonous one tone. I remember it. It was like, we shall now talk about this game in the most boring tonal manner possible. Oh, Jesus Christ.
If you're not excited for the game, I'm not excited for the game, so.
Yeah. No, it was definitely, at least for me, it was very eye-opening, and it was also good to see, as you said, the enthusiasm just come oozing out from the developers, and you could see that, which was good.
Yep.
What about you, Luke? Did you catch the extended showcase?
Yeah, I did see it. I'm not. I wasn't a huge fan of this last year, not because I don't like dev interviews, but I just often think that I don't know. It just always ends up being a lot of the games that I'm probably not interested in that they highlight there. Not this time, because I think they had some decent stuff. But equally, when you're giving massive flight simulator segments, I'm going to tune out of that pretty quickly. Even though I quite like Flight Simulator, but it's I don't know. It was a bit weird. It's kind of baffling why the Stalker 2 piece wasn't in the main show. To me, it seems like it should have been there for more people to see. I think it's so important.
Do you think there was a mention? I think someone it was answered in Twitter. If again, I could be wrong, but I think it was they got that piece done by Stalker 2 at such a late stage, it could only get dropped in the extended show.
Yeah, I mean
that's possible, because I know that the main show was actually ready to roll like a week and a half ago, because they mentioned in Twitter that they'd already previewed it and it was ready to go. They probably didn't want to edit it much at that point.
Yeah, I think from what I heard, it just appeared, and so they said, okay, let's put it in quickly.
You see, I don't get it because although E3's not on the schedule, it's not like you're on TV. They could have. I know they locked in 95 minutes, but they could have made more time on.
They could have done whatever number they would have wanted.
It's their own channel.
You know, I get that. Yeah, I think that. I suspect that they want to keep it kind of 90 minutes ish because they might think that after that point people will start to tune out if you make it too long.
Yeah,
which is the case, you know, and can happen. But it's all very arbitrary, you know, what the number that they're choosing. So, and I think for 90 minutes, like, and I get what Paul's saying about, you know, maybe they didn't want to show things with that they had a kind of peripheral date on in case they had to move it, but equally I don't think they needed to give dates for some of these exciting things they could have announced / shown. They could have just announced them, you know. They could have just said, here's, I don't know, In Exile's next game, this is a CG concept, and in and amongst all of the masses of gameplay that would have been absolutely fine. It's when you go on the extreme one end or another, when you've either got too much CG and your show is dominated by it and dominated by that stuff.
Yeah.
Or
you know what and real quick, you know what this does for me though? Come Tokyo Game Show and come the Game Awards, what are we going to see coming at the end of 2023? What are they holding? What are we, you know, this actually makes me more excited to see what else is coming.
Yeah, I mean, I think Game Awards, they should show something.
Yeah,
they always do. So, you know, hopefully that's a new game announcement, or, you know, maybe gameplay footage from something that we haven't seen.
And that'll push us to the end of the next calendar year. So, I mean, I could definitely see some of that.
I guess it depends on what they want to do, because if they're going to take this approach of, okay, we don't want to announce things, or we don't want to show things until we can kind of have a 12-month window in which they're, you know, in which they might release, then that again, they're arbitrarily, you know, limiting what they can show. I don't think.
I think, like I said, I think some of that'll go away after they're through with this. What is now basically a COVID glut. After they're through with this glut of crap that they have to do, that all of a sudden we have all these games that we have to push out. After they're more on a normal stance, it will start to see a more normal show again, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's right, and I you know, I hope they do that. And you know, like, I mean, the show itself, like, I enjoyed it. You know, there was a lot of stuff that I was really interested in. Probably, you know, 60-70% of it I was interested in, which is great. And so it wasn't a bad show. And I think anybody who says it's a bad show is talking nonsense. But I think it's just it was a little. It wasn't one of those shows which. And we haven't had, to be fair, we haven't had many of these shows in the last few years. I can only think of a few off the top of my head, but these massive, big announcements, you know, that kind of, you know, the megatons as they are, that shock you or that get you really excited. It wasn't one of those. It wasn't like a super exciting show. It was just like a,
it wasn't like Gear 6 being dropped on your lap, ready to play.
My feelings are hurt already.
You know, one of the nicest things was that there were not a lot of leaks. For the most part, we didn't know what they were going to show. We had some ideas, and we were pretty sure, but at least I was able to go on the show going for the most part, except for like Starfield and a few others. Going, I have no idea what they're going to show, and the fact that most of the quote insiders had no clue either. You know, Microsoft had managed to keep a lot of this hush-hush this year, which to me made it a better show because, you know, all the lists we saw, and all those lists were wrong, every single one of them. You know, we didn't see GoldenEye, we didn't see all this other stuff, and I think that's part of the reason people are giving it hate, because they had these expectations they'd put in their own head for what they wanted to see. Something I keep telling everybody, don't do that, because as soon as you start going, they need to do this, they need to show that, and when they don't, you go, well, crap, that sucked. Well, that's your own expectation. That's your own fault. You know, go into the show open-minded, you'll enjoy it a lot more. You know?
I will actually say that I'm one for saying keep your expectations in line, and then I then I don't listen to Manic Voice. I was expecting Gears.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh no, it's not here. But that's my own fault. That's not Xbox's fault. That's
Right.
my fault for believing, because there was that many insiders saying it. I believed it. So that's my own fault, not their fault at all. It is.
Yep, and it's funny to me. Everybody thought GoldenEye was going to be there because they all saw the achievements have been leaked, and so they're going to show it. No,
Yeah,
the
but
achievements have been leaked. That should be the end of the statement. The achievements have been leaked. Period. That doesn't mean jack shit.
I can't find the link anymore, but I did see the achievements on an official Xbox site. They are there. I can't
Oh, yeah,
find them. But I think it's just a port or something. It's no new. It will come someday.
It's probably outside of the 12-month window, which is why.
Yeah. Exactly. Luke's about to comment on that. He is. I can see his mic come up.
Oh, well, the GoldenEye stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get why people are excited for it. To be honest, I think
Me neither. It's a 30-year-old game. It was great 30 years ago. It was great 30 years ago.
If it was
gonna be amazing.
If it was a remake, if it was like a full-on remake, I think I'd be pretty excited about that. But it's essentially, from what I can tell, just the old remastered Xbox Live Arcade port.
Heck, I'd go for a full reimagining of that story. I mean, it's a great game, but I don't think that style is going to play well in today's market.
No.
It depends on the developer who does the remaster. There are some developers out there who do amazing remasters, who delve deep into the gubbins of the game and put out stuff that was never even managed to get in, or stuff that's missing from years bygone, and add it back in again. And I suppose it all depends on that particular developer's pedigree. I can think of I'm trying to think. It's Night Dive. They are very good at doing fantastic remasters. They literally just almost they go so deep and dive into the history of it. And they normally 10 times put in loads more stuff than that was ever potentially ever released. Stuff they found. So I can understand if I can see why some people could be getting really, really excited for it. But as you said, if it's just it's a kind of like you buffed up the graphics slightly, you've smoothed some of the edges off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, even if this port, and I don't think it is, but even if this remaster introduced new content, that was lost to time, as it were, it's still going to be GoldenEye. It's still going to be the same gameplay. That gameplay is garbage now. It doesn't, it's not good to play. We've been spoiled by first-person shooters now. So it doesn't really matter how much extra content. The novelty factor is cool. It might be interesting, for people who, and I played GoldenEye and enjoyed it, especially the multiplayer. But it's still going to be GoldenEye, which is why if they remade it and they said, here's a modern FPS, but we're kind of, give it the Resident Evil 2 treatment, something like that. Brilliant, that would have been great, but that's not what this is. It's apparently just another port of the Xbox Live Arcade version, which we played like 10 years ago. So I don't really. I think it'd be good for people for the kind of nostalgia of it all, but I don't think it will, amass some kind of following where people are playing it constantly.
I think it's one of those things. They'll play it and then they'll be kind of gone again.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, it's true. That is, but yeah, no, it's I like the show overall. There's loads of games, and we'll get to it in a bit about certain games, and Paul will be like, "You're eating your words now."
Loads of games that Stubbs will never play, or at least never finish.
There is. Wow, there's some big games. Hollow Knight Silk Song looks great, but I've got to complete Hollow Knight first and see if that ever happens. I keep trying, then I give up, then I try, then I give up. I do, but it looks like you're safe at the minute, Luke. Welcome to Indie Gamer. He's not pressed the
button
kill
yet.
switch yet.
Oh, that's good.
Looks like you're safe. Welcome to Back from the Dead as well.
Keep the Silk song going.
But no, it's regards to Silk Song. I didn't see that coming because I just didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it. I didn't. The one show Indie Gamer doesn't cover, and it drops.
Sod's law.
And that's probably the reason why it dropped.
Yeah, they were like, Indie Gamer isn't doing a reaction show. Right. There we go.
Yeah. It was great that it did. It was a genuine surprise.
20
20
times.
times. I'll see what I can do.
Kill switch. But yeah, it's in terms of views, what Indie made a post about because people underestimated the likes of Silk Song. If you look on the Xbox channel, it still stands this moment. It does. It's actually still the number one trailer from the showcase. I'll get the current. Okay, so to put this in perspective, an indie game is at 889,000 views. I haven't checked the recent Redfield and Starfield reviews, but it's every time I've looked, it's just trashed the views.
Don't you knock indie games? Trust me.
Minecraft
was an indie game, and that's become the most successful game ever.
Yeah, but what I've noticed is, I've been listening to other podcasts, they don't quite understand how big Hollow Knight was and how big Silk Song actually is for being an indie game. They don't get it. A lot of shows have actually ignored it. In fact, and it's quite a big deal. I imagine Luke would agree. It's it's a massive get for Xbox, and people just don't get it. They don't.
Yeah. It's a huge game, and I think I said last week at some point because I saw someone describe it like this online, but someone described it as the Elden Ring of indie games, and I think that's quite an apt comparison because it's that game that kind of is doing what for indie games what Elden Ring did for Souls games in general, which is hit the kind of mass market element. Rather than being just something that enthusiasts really enjoy and know about and are familiar with. It's the hype of the reaction to the first game has kind of blown up into mass anticipation for Silksong. And deservedly so, because the first game is just a wonderful game. It's just an incredible title. So yeah, I mean, it didn't surprise me that on the X, and I think if you take all of the kind of, I think Benji Salesman have done it on Twitter, what were the biggest games coming out of that showcase? If you kind of aggregate all the trailers for them that have got over 50,000 views, I think it's like third maybe out of all of them, but that's still an unbelievable achievement considering some of the big games that have come out of that show. And as you brightly say on the Xbox channel, I think out of all the trailers, it still has the most views.
It does, surprising, but it's not surprising as well.
Yeah, no, it's not. I think some people might find it surprising, but it's people who are just not engaging in indie games at all. But actually, I mean, if you look at the market for indie games, it's ginormous. It's really, really big. You only have to go on Steam and look at your bestsellers list and look at the games that are massively wishlisted to see that. So yeah, I mean, I'm really happy for it, and obviously it's I think the 12-month window for it might be a little tenuous. We don't know. Obviously, they gave no release date at all for that, not even a summer 2023 or whatever. But
they're quite secretive, aren't they? They probably said we won't tell you the date until we're ready.
And I mean, they're still a small team. It's a very ambitious game for them.
Oh, they are.
So they want to take the time to get it right. They're in no rush. It's not like I don't think that they're financially pressured to get this game out at all, because first of all, Hollow Knight was a massive success commercially for them, and secondly, still selling. And secondly, they'll have clearly will have received a chunk of money from Xbox to put it on Game Pass day one. So I think that's great for them, and they deserve it because they made an amazing game, and I'm very confident Silksong will be just as good. So yeah, and it was a surprise that it was there. Nobody expected it to be there at all. I didn't expect it to be there in a million years. I
that's
firmly
what Indie
thought it
Gamer's
would show
saying.
up at Nintendo.
He's saying that it might be that, but maybe they wanted to surprise the Hollow Knight community because it is the one place that you wouldn't expect it to turn up at. Everyone was going, "Oh, it's got to be the Nintendo show."
Yeah, and that's I say that's where I expected it to be, whatever the next big direct is. And everybody did, So it was great that it was here, and then we got to see it and see how polished it is already. And yeah, they can just take all the time they need, from my perspective, because I don't think they would mess it up anyway. But I think that they are making a big game by indie standards, so it will take time. But it was great. It was great that it was there. I was really excited by it.
No, it's good to hear it is. But yeah, there was loads of games. I mean, the one I like the look of, I've never watched Rick and Morty, but that High on Life game looked really fun. It did.
Yeah, yeah. I'm quite. That was probably out of all the games, maybe like my third, like most hyped game from that whole conference.
Really?
Yeah.
And the extended showcase showed that you don't have to listen to Morty yell at you the whole time. Each gun has a different voice and a different attitude.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought it was brilliant. I mean, as soon as the voice came on, I was like, it's just in Roiland.
Even better than that. So as soon as I saw Squanch Studios. Because I am a Rick and Morty fan, I went, "Oh shit, this is Rick and Morty."
Yeah, exactly, I mean, I love Justin Roiland's humor. It's just it's totally zany and irreverent and just brilliant. So
yes, if you've never watched Rick and Morty or Solar Opposites, give them a try, and don't just watch one episode. Watch a few episodes and.
Just watch a few, and then watch all of them because they're brilliant.
Yeah.
So and I mean, it looked. I was really impressed with it actually because it looked super high budget for an independent game. It was.
It does, doesn't it? It looks really, really quite.
It reminded me of. I think because of the weird humor and then the first person stuff and the bounty hunter element, it reminded me of. Oddworld Stranger's Wrath, which was a really good game, and kind of hit similar themes, obviously without Justin Roiland's humor, but and if it's they said in the extended showcase, it's kind of a bit. It seems to be a bit kind of freeform, so the plot's really simple, and you've got to essentially take out 6 bounty targets. But I think you can kind of approach them any way you want. So you can go to one.
From what they were saying, they said everybody's going to play it different depending on what you want to do and how you want to get there.
Yeah, exactly. I think they said that you just pick the one, the portal opens up, and then you go through to their world, and then that's the level, and then you come back and pick another one and just do that. So that's really cool. And it just looked quite creative. Yeah, I really liked it.
Yes. It's a surprising game for me. That was just the sheer variety at the show. The show was there was something for everyone, really. There was. I mean, if you come out of a showcase and there's a few games you like, then you've done well. You have because it's from more creative games on the indie side. They had some big AAA games, but so you shouldn't really. Title games AAA or indie, but we just do, don't we? But because some indie games are better than a lot of the top end expensive games because they're not afraid to take risks at that level, were they? Because they've got nothing else to lose. And then if a mechanic works or a certain game works, then the big boys go, "Oh, that works. I'm going to just nick that out of the game and do our own spin." We are, but there was some other games. There was was actually Overwatch 2 free to play. I think it's just a multiplayer. Was announced. And
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming, but I've never tried it, so I'm gonna give it a go for that one. I am.
They're not
Might as
finished.
well if it's free.
Yeah, it's free
It
to
is.
play. I mean, I wasn't really expecting to see that there. Just because it doesn't. I mean, they usually do their own thing, rather than be somewhere else. They usually do their own, event, or they'll just announce something on their Twitter. I mean, I'm a massive Overwatch fan. I've got over 1,000 hours in the multiplayer.
Nice.
Watch the Overwatch League, so I'm pretty invested in it. And I've just recently played the Overwatch 2 beta, actually. I wasn't expecting it to be there, but it's cool that it was, because they need a bit of an uplift, I think, in terms of players, etc. So it's cool they announced a new character and the launch, early access, and free to play. So it's all good stuff.
It's good to hear. That is. Any other games people want to highlight apart from the big two? I want to kind of mention that towards the end. Any other games people are interested in? Anyone can jump in.
To be honest with you, there's a nice selection of Japanese games coming through.
I thought I actually posted. I thought that was one of the bigger announcements. The fact that what's it called, Valorant and all those games are coming to Game Pass, and you're getting all the additional heroes and stuff. So I thought that was that announcement kind of got buried underneath all the other news, but that's really a big deal. They're drawing more people into the ecosystem by doing that.
Yeah.
A lot more. I mean, thousands.
yeah. It's going to open up a few different doorways there. I think it was just really we've always heard, at least from Phil, that he is been trying hard to convince the Eastern market to join the Western market in terms of Xbox. And it's nice to see maybe just the starts of the fruit come through on that. It's nice to see that it's starting to pay off, because that's probably the biggest and hardest market to get into.
Yep, and because because of the fact that those games, I don't remember what they all were, Valorant and a bunch of League of Legends, and they said if you play on Game Pass, you're going to have access to all these characters that the other people have had to grind for or pay for, So you're going to see a lot of people, PC on Xbox on cloud, jumping on here and going, hey, this is cool because now I have all these characters I didn't have in my other one, or however they're going to work that. So I think that is going to open up more of the Asian market, which Luke said, he said he doesn't really feel that like the other games really going to pull much of that in. But I think all of this whole package, plus Kojima coming over, is going to start pulling over some of those Asian players. So
I've been listening to some other shows, and it's quite a big deal.
Like, you've been deviating from us. Oh.
No. I mean, so with League of Legends, I believe that it unlocks something like 200 players that you have to grind for. It's a big deal. You may well get people that play League of Legends just subscribe to Game Pass just to get that deal.
Yep.
Yeah. Trust me, it will be.
The problem is League of Legends. You talk about Call of Duty, but League of Legends and how do you say it?
Valorant.
Valorant.
Them two games are two of the biggest esport games on the planet. They are.
League of Legends especially is, but that's been like that for years.
I used to plot playing that.
Heck, Valorant pays Ninja's bills, so that's a pretty big game. That's.
Yeah, but Ninja's nobody now, so by comparison.
He's still making pretty good bank, though, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, he's still making great bank. But Valorant's a big game. It's not as big as League still, but very few games are as. I mean, League is probably still the biggest esport in the world.
Yeah.
To this day, so it does have a massive Eastern outreach, particularly in South Korea. Will like I do think this is a bigger deal than people realize, because having played, I played a lot of Valorant in particular, and just being able to have all the agents unlocked for you rather than either having to pay for them or grind for them is a really cool thing. I think that's awesome. But the problem might be you've got to remember all this is on PC, right? It's all on PC. So it's convincing people to sign up to Game Pass on PC for the sole purpose of unlocking for $1, for the sole purpose of unlocking these characters. But most of the most of the base that are playing these games have already unlocked a lot of these characters. They're hardcore players. They play all the time. So
now the question, well, real quick, the question might become: are they going to allow them, even if they sign up for Game Pass, to link it to their existing account for that company?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know how the practicalities of that work in the background. I don't, how do you? Is it going to be a linking process, as you say, which is quite straightforward?
Because that's what EA does. That's what EA does. We have to sign into Origin. We have to sign into Origin to use the EA games. So I don't see this being a problem. If that's what they're doing, that makes it a big plus. Because if you're already playing, you've unlocked a lot of them, but you haven't unlocked all of them. For another $15 a month, you now have all of them. Plus, once you're in, and we all know that once you're in the Game Pass system, you start looking at all the games going, oh, I want to play that. Oh, I want to play that. Oh, that looks cool. Very few people don't do that. I'm sure there are some, but very few people don't look at that library and go, yeah, there's nothing here for me. At least not the ones that aren't trying to get clicks, The
biggest crux I see of these games is going to be keyboard implementation. Now, don't get me wrong, these games have controller implementation, and they're pretty good controller implementation on them. But you can use a keyboard and mouse on Xbox, and it's one of the most heinous things that Xbox hasn't done is utilize that well, because there are so many games that could easily be ported over to the Xbox ecosystem if they just ran with the keyboard and mouse on the Xbox.
What I'm finding out, we need more PCI ports on the Xbox Series X, because because like I'm going to have a wired controller that I'm getting sent here thanks to the Xbox Ambassador program. I have, if I want to hook up the keyboard and the mouse, that's 2 more. If you stream from your console, you want one for a camera. There aren't enough ports on the dang thing right now. Plus, if you have an external drive, like most of us do. There's a need of 5 PCI ports right there.
Yeah.
So
exactly. To be honest, but it's don't you feel as it's a little bit heinous that this good technology of Xbox and mouse on the system has been kind of really underutilized.
I think it's coming. I think that I think that wheel is starting to turn. I think it's coming. I think it's it's just a matter of because they've started implementing it, and now with Flight Sim, they expect you to use a flight stick, or they even suggest it. A lot of us have them, so there's another need for one. And I, for one, do not like plugging and unplugging my PCI devices because it can be hard on the ports if you do that too much. Yeah. So they're either going to need to introduce an official PCI hub or something,
I'll jump in quickly. Welcome to our friendly pest. It's Timmy, and hang on.
No, don't do it like you got to do it right. Don't do
It's Timmy.
There you go. That's cool.
And the friendly pest, and I've seen Jim. Welcome to, where is he? General Spartan. Thanks for popping in. Carry on, Luke. Sorry.
No, I think the only thing I was going to say is I think all the Riot Games announcements, so Valorant, etc., they weren't announcing ports to the Xbox. They're not coming to console.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was my bad. That was just. So I'm old. I'm tired. Give me a break. But still, it's coming to Game Pass. Still, it's coming into the ecosystem.
So it's coming to Game Pass, and it is coming to the ecosystem. But I do question how many people will, even if they get Game Pass. I mean, I could see bots potentially buying a trial, for a quid or whatever, to get extra heroes, and then maybe keeping it on. But the kind of people that are playing League of Legends and Valorant and all that stuff, like that's their game that they go to all the time. Like they're heavily invested in those games, so they're not the type of gamers typically that go outside of those games much. Now they may do for price of
look if they get like say 20,000 more people to sign up for that quid for 1 month to check it out, just because they can now get all their characters in Valorant or whatever, and only 5% of those people stay on from month to month to month, that's still 5% of 10,000 people.
That's still good. No, that's good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's not a bad attachment rate at all.
Yeah.
So
and it may do, and I do think it is a really good announcement and deal that they've got.
Did they say these ports would be used in the cloud system?
In the what?
I don't think that.
The cloud. Did these?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Because just thinking about it, obviously, if you're using the cloud, then obviously that then widens your ability to play that particular game, and you keep your progression. That might entice a little bit more people to kind of join the ecosystem for a bit longer. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing.
Do you mean the right games ones? So like League of Legends and
right
mobile.
But I don't think they're doing any port. I think this is basically you link your you play those games on PC.
Yep.
Now, if you sign up for Game Pass and you link them through an indeterminate method that they haven't said yet, you get all the characters.
How's it working on mobile? Because they say you can play it on mobile as well. How's that? Is that cloud? Or
that must be a separate system.
Or they've got a mobile app for it.
Yeah. So because there's no way, I mean, I don't even know off the top. I don't think there are cloud versions of Valorant and League, because no sane person would play those games.
They mentioned mobile. That's all.
That's
all. They said mobile. That's what got me.
Yeah. Well,
mobile.
It'll be interesting.
It will be.
I think there's
for low latency games like that, you'd want a very good internet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just yeah. I think there's Wild Rift League of Legends. I don't know if that was part of the package.
I heard that name. That might have been. Is that a mobile version of it?
Yeah, Wild Rift is a mobile version. But
that was mentioned.
Yeah,
I think it was that name. Don't quote me on it though.
Yeah, so it could be that. They did have the big slide of all the games, but I can't.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to dig up the slide if I can find it.
And Valorant.
Just got a message from VJ. I think VJ is much better now, and he wants to still join us on Turtles tomorrow. He does.
Good.
So it'd be good to play, have a game with him, Turtles, tomorrow night. It will. Just message me. So feeling better.
It was Wild Rift. So the full game list was League of Legends, Wild Rift, Legends of Runeterra, which is PC and mobile, Teamfight Tactics, which is PC and mobile, and Valorant, which is PC only. So yes, there were a couple of mobile games / mobile versions of games that were included in that.
I'm going to have a go at this League of Legends mobile game, see what it's like.
You will quickly click off it.
I'm not saying a word.
Why is it hardcore? Yeah.
Well,
I watch some of the
esports.
I watch some of the esports sometimes, and then because I watch one, I like 100 Thieves, and they got like esports. So I watch videos on it, and but to be honest, not being racial, I think the majority of the best players in the world are from like South Korea and stuff from that part of the region, and these kids, they're amazing. They really are.
Yeah.
It's tactics.
It looks like the hands ain't moving.
Low latency.
Like really fast hands and keyboard. It's incredible.
Okay, so I'm looking at the slide right now. League of Legends, PC only, all champions unlocked. League of Legends, Wild Rift, which is the mobile, all champions unlocked. Legends of Runeterra Foundation set unlocked. Now, I have no idea what that means because I don't know anything about that game, but that's PC and mobile. Teamfight Tactics Select Little Legends unlocked. So I don't. Yeah, when they start doing select stuff, who knows? And then Valorant, all the legends are unlocked and more. It says I don't know what them, but so yeah, to me, yeah. So to me, I think that honestly does mean to me that makes that a bigger announcement than people are making it out to be. I think that's going to have a big push on the ecosystem anyway. You know.
Yeah, it is a bigger deal than people think, and it's just have to see. It is because people are like, "Why was that in the showcase?" So I've seen that, but then a lot of people. I listen to TXR and Crusader on there. He's a very well versed guy, and he explained it to Tim Dog, and then Tim Dog was like, "Actually, that's a very very big deal. That is because Crusader. If you ever listen to Crusader, he knows his stuff. He does." But yeah, I think I seen the Invader Gaming earlier. Shouts to you if you're still in. But yeah, I'm going to move on now. But that was quite a good point of the show. It was. What did you guys think of Starfield and Redfall? Do you want me to say my bit first? So,
yeah.
Go on then.
Okay, so since the last showcase last year, I never had much interest in it. I obviously said it would be delayed. It got delayed. I didn't really want it to. So when I seen Redfall, I was very, very impressed. It looks something like it looks like a game you could play with your friends, co-op, or you could play solo. Just looks the graphics look quite nice. Obviously, I've rewatched it on the 4K stream video after because it's always streamed in 1080p because the majority of people won't be able to stream it in 4K live. They struggle, and it looks a really really fun game. I mean, it wasn't on my radar. It is now. Bethesda games got me interest. I'm not technical enough to explain any more than that about Redfall, but as for Starfield, yeah, it's I'm not going to call the guy God Howard though. His name's Todd Howard, but the game looks the potential is it looks incredible. I mean, obviously it's not ready yet, obviously, but
hey, removable. Is that crow that he's eating?
I think it is. Yeah. He seems to be kind of making a meal out of it though.
Yeah. It looks nice. It looks a very nice game. I mean, obviously, it's gonna from now to when it's being released. It does need polish. You can see it, but it's still got time to improve because it always has. I don't know what all the Luke Steele who touched on what all the fuss is because he said you can't drive your spaceship round and land it wherever you want. That don't bother me though. Really. It looks a fun game, and I can't wait to try it out. It'd be fun after me saying I'm not interested for a long time. I've downloaded Fallout 3, Fallout 4, a load of them actually. I'm going to try them out, and I've been told though to get more of a feel of what Bethesda could be like. Whether Luke can agree, I'm going to try Fallout 4.
Fallout 4 is a decent. Yeah.
Would that be more what? I'm not saying it's the same as Starfield, but to get a feel of what it could be like.
Yes.
That's the better
much more than Fallout 76, okay? Don't even...
Yeah. Oh, no.
I have downloaded that, but I do know that's not a Todd.
And because that's a multiplayer game, and what we're going to see in Starfield is back to their single-player roots, so...
Yep.
Exactly. But I am a believer now, but I'm not going to call the bloke God Howard. His name's Todd.
Yeah.
But there you go. I've said it, Paul. There we go. You happy?
Yeah. Yep. About time. Try to tell you.
But I'm interested in seeing more and more over time, and I still say it's a winter 2023 release, probably. But we'll have to wait.
No, it's not going to. Well, if you mean winter as in early 2023, like January, then yeah, probably. No, January, February are both winter. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I obviously they're aiming for then, but I think if you're honest, a bit more. I think they should just give themselves a little bit more time and release it for probably November, October.
No. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen.
Prediction live on the air. Stubb says winter 2023. Paul says January, February.
No, actually, if you're saying November, that's fall 2023. Okay. Remember, winter starts December 21st. So.
In the UK, winter's like from October.
No, it's the same. Okay, the seasons are universal, dude. That's just how that works. If you want to say fourth quarter 2023, that's different.
There we go, fourth quarter then. There you go. We'll say that. We will. Yeah.
And I'm saying first quarter 2022 or 2023, and you're saying fourth. But no, I think they're shooting for first.
I know they are. I hope it comes out then. I do. But we always say, I have to be different, Paul. You know what I mean?
Remember, we also don't know how old that footage was, what that build was that we saw. That actually could be months old.
That's also true. That is. Welcome to Telegonic. Thanks for popping in. Who else did I see come in chat? No, that's it. So I know Stubbs winter is.
Thank you, Indy. See, Indy notices that you think winter is in October too. So here we are.
Oh, is winter December then?
No, winter is in December. Winter starts December 21st. I wasn't kidding. Winter officially starts December 21st.
You're telling me winter starts in December 21st?
Yes, that's how that works.
I think the problem here is
there we go.
We live in the UK, and basically after July, everything is cold.
Everything is winter.
Everything is winter. Until the following June. It's pretty much winter.
4 days in July, and then it goes to winter.
I associate when the clocks leave British summertime. After that, I call that winter, but it's
that's fall. That's fall.
Yeah, but we don't have a.
Oh, come on! I lived in Texas. We had 2 seasons, summer and not summer. Okay,
I've learned something now. Apparently, even Indy's saying officially it starts the 21st of December. Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm going to fly over and smack you. I swear to God. Nobody listens to the cripple. I'm going to put that on a hat.
All right. We have a lovely autumn. Yeah, we have a cold autumn then, obviously.
Yeah.
Cold autumn.
We do, yeah. So, what do you reckon about Starfield, Luke? And Redfall?
It's interesting. I think so. Funnily enough, when I was coming into the show, I was more concerned about Redfall than I was Starfield. And I think the reason for the Redfall concern was that I really love arcane games, and I like the kind of immersive sim stuff that they do. Very single player driven, very systems based. All that kind of stuff. And I was a bit concerned with Redfall that it wouldn't be that, and they talked about that they were trying to keep a lot of that identity, but obviously just change what the game was a bit. And whilst it's clearly not, the same level of immersive sim that something like Dishonored was or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think the footage got me a lot more excited for it than I was, because I think having an open world where you can just approach it in a single player way is really cool. They showed stealth, different ways to approach missions. That's very arcane like. There's some loot stuff in there which I always enjoy. I love vampires. I think they're quite underrepresented in games generally, so it's great setting for me. And I think it could be a lot of fun with people, kind of playing off abilities and stuff like that. I think that could be really, really interesting. And that is, again, using different abilities, playing off abilities. That's all very arcane-like. So, I'm really excited about that. Starfield's a difficult one because I have a weird history of Bethesda Game Studios games, which is that I absolutely adore anything Elder Scrolls, and loved Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, etc. I really dislike Fallout. Don't like it at all. So I don't know where Starfield will land for where I am, because in many ways, the Elder Scrolls games and the Fallout games are very, very similar in that they are, kind of proper open world RPGs, systems based to some extent, and choice consequence, all that sort of stuff. Where Bethesda don't do things well is in their really moment to moment gameplay. Neither the Elder Scrolls nor Fallout do combat particularly well, but I think they get away with it more in the Elder Scrolls series because it's a fantasy setting. There aren't guns. I think their gunplay is garbage, to be honest. And I know that that's not a focus of their games, but it still is got first-person shooter elements. And I think if the best example I can give is something like Cyberpunk, which has pretty poor gunplay as well, and that really detracted from the experience for me. Okay. So a lot of the stuff that they're showing for Starfield, I am excited for, and I think it looks very ambitious. It's clearly a proper Bethesda game, through and through, Bethesda Game Studios game, with all the kind of RPG stuff that we expect of those games, which is great. I really like the base building, which makes an awful lot of sense in this game. The ship stuff also the you're able to build your ship looks awesome, and I do understand why they didn't do the whole taking off from a planet, going into space, all that as one thing, because they're not trying to make a totally immersive space experience. It's a Bethesda RPG. That's what they're trying to make. It just so happens to be set in space. So I get that, although I do think stuff like that can be very immersive, but equally after a while it gets pretty boring. I mean, if you play Star Citizen, for example, which I did earlier, you'll take off from a planet, and it took me probably 10 minutes to break the atmosphere, 10 minutes of real world time to even get out into space. So that's it's not dead time for some people, but it still is time where you're not really doing much. So I get that. I'm interested to see how they work this, in terms of, will the space stuff just feel really added on because it's not a full space experience? And, the ship combat and stuff, I'm interested to see what you can do in space while you're actually exist in that kind of element. They showed a lot of combat, which looks cool. And I think they also showed stuff like, asteroid fields you can go through, and docking, and you can, dock pirate ships and loot them and all that stuff. So I think that looks really cool. Basically, I'm kind of on the fence about Starfield. I think it looks really ambitious and exciting, but because I have this history with their games, I don't know if I'll like it until I play it, sadly. So it'll either hit me, hook me in, or it won't. It'll either be a Skyrim style game or a Fallout style game. So I'll just have to see when I play it. But that's not me trying to criticize what I saw. It's just me saying I'm just a bit weird, really, and that's the way that Bethesda games kind of interact with me. So
it's you have much more experience with Bethesda games, so it's like, well, really, no one, you can love the look of a game, but until you actually play it, you don't really know if you're going to like it until you get an idea. But until you start playing it, like I've had games before, various other people have and think, I'm going to really love that, and they play it and they don't like it. So you are right.
Yeah, and I mean, with Fallout, I gave that lots of chances. So, I played Fallout 3, hated it, absolutely hated it, and then played New Vegas, and I liked that a bit more. But I didn't finish it, and then I thought, okay, I'll go all in and play Fallout 4, and I hated it again. So I was like, okay, Fallout is definitely not for me. I just really dislike it. I think some of that is setting as well, because I'm not a big fan of the type of post-apocalyptic setting Fallout does.
And even then, just so you know, New Vegas is considered the best, even among Fallout fans. New Vegas is considered the crown jewel. And it is on Game Pass, by the way. I believe.
Yeah, I've been downloading it. That was the smallest game, actually. You can tell that was on the 360 days.
Yeah, and ironically, not made by Bethesda. That was Obsidian.
Yeah, ironically,
It was. I've seen that at the start, I did.
No, Masuko did not finish Fallout New Vegas.
That's right, Masuko. He pulled the stubs. That's right.
The Stubbs, yeah. I think I got further than Stubbs would have got.
You would have done, yeah.
I got at least a couple of hours into it. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something I really hate. I hate the VAT system. I hate the shooting. I hate the
What's funny is I love the VAT system. That's funny because I was going to say that's one of the things I like about it. I like the VAT system.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, a lot of people like that. That's absolutely fair. Just didn't resonate with me. Doesn't look like they've got it in Starfield, which is good. I mean, it may show up, but it doesn't look, or an equivalent may show up. But yeah, so I think, you know, as I say, it's I've got it. I have to play it. I'll know within about an hour or 2 hours if I'm going to enjoy the game, and then I can say for sure. But
well, let's see, if it drops on a Tuesday, like most Game Pass games, if I'm not on the show on Wednesday, you'll just have to look and see that he's playing Starfield.
Yeah.
Apparently, he already has 42 hours into it. What the hell?
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. But yeah, thanks for them opinions, Luke. Always appreciate it. Cerebral.
Yes.
Are you excited?
Nah, looks like crap. No, I'm kidding. Yes, I'm excited. That got me more excited. The more I saw, the more I was like, yeah. Wanted to scream, told you so.
Yeah.
No, even though it didn't look perfect by any means, I didn't expect it to at this point, it looks like it's going to be, in fact, to me, between the shipbuilding and the base building and all that stuff, and some of that stuff I actually don't care for in the Fallout games and in the other games that are like that, because I'm not big on the base building, or, just like some people can spend like hours doing the crafting stuff, and it looks like the crafting is going to be just as hairy as their crafting always is. It's always tends to be my least favorite thing. I'd rather save up the credits or whatever and buy what I need. By the way, you will notice on the extended one, they said, in order to expand your spacecraft and get the different way, because you can build it, everybody's spacecraft is going to be to their own liking. But you're going to have to mine resources and get resources to do it. It's not just going to be go to the store and buy an engine, No, you're going to have to resource all that stuff. And some people are into that. Hopefully I can get into that, But I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping the story draws me in, because where Luke didn't care, wasn't drawn into like Fallout and stuff, I was drawn into Fallout. I was drawn into the other one, the ESO, or not ESO, but Elder Scrolls. I like those kind of games. I like good story-driven games, but they have to have a good story to keep me drawn in. And that's where like 76 fell apart. Especially when it first launched, 76 had no story. It dropped you on an empty spot and said, there you go. And you're like, oh, where? Where do I go? Okay, there's nobody to talk to. What the hell? So, yeah. So as long as they don't do that, I think I'll be okay. So I've said from the get-go that I have faith in Bethesda in their single-player games. I've said it here many times when everybody goes, but what about ESO, and what about 76? Both of those are considered, pretty bad. I'm like, yeah, but those are different. I don't have faith in Bethesda's online presence. I have faith in theirs.
My good friend Centurion has thousands of hours in ESO. He loves it. He does.
Oh yeah, and my roommate plays it all the time. It's not for me. Probably because I played ESO at launch, and I was even in the beta. And just like with Fallout 76, at the launches, there wasn't a whole lot of content. it wasn't, there wasn't a lot guiding you and telling you where you had to go, and there wasn't a lot of story. So you just end up running around a lot going, why am I here? Which is, kind of the same reason I never got into Conan Exiles either, because that pretty much dropped you in the middle of nothing. Also, thank you for ringing the doorbell. That's probably my package, but we'll find out. I think my roommate will get it. I think he's up already. Anyway, so yeah, that's my take. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's, it'll take a lot for me to go, oh, this sucks. But that'll probably be after the first 70 hours. So, so yeah, I am looking forward to it. I'm hyped even more than I was.
It sounds like it's your package.
Yep.
So,
which I could do. I could do an opening right here on stream, and I may have to go. Yeah. I may have to go get it though. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, you go get it, mate.
Yeah.
Remote Sanity. What are your thoughts on Bethesda's games that showed off?
Redfall for me was, I couldn't get excited about it because I'd never saw anything about it. There was little to get excited about it. So the trailer itself was, for someone who kind of just saw something like a little screenshot, or it's like, not really interested. The trailer definitely made me more interested into it. And as I said on the previous shows we've done, it made me feel that this could be a game that I could play with friends. And that's a good thing. So instantly, a bit like Animated, I was thinking, who could I play this with? And so that's it's one of the games I'll probably will be downloading and playing with VJ Animated. Yourself if you're interested. It does look a very good game to play. It does have some unique aspects to it. For the last one, Starfield. Again, I was like, well, we don't know anything about it. How can we get hyped about it? So seeing that gave me much more credence to me getting hyped about it. There are some things I was like, okay, looks a little bland here, looks a little bland, but the actual shipbuilding was one of the things that I was like, oh, that's going to be quite good. The base building, oh, that's going to be quite good. Being able to, pick your own crew, populate your starship with that crew, populate your all your base and your ship with it, build your own ship, then fly into the actual universe itself. That good as well. I was intrigued about it. Now, as someone who's played Elite Dangerous and No Man's Sky, the 1,000 planets and was it 1,000 planets, 100 planets and 1,000 universes that is on offer. To me, that's like, okay, but is that curated? Is that or is that like procedural? Because it's procedural, that can go really well if it's done right, like No Man's Sky, or it can go a little bit bland, a little bit basic, where a bit like Elite Dangerous, where Elite Dangerous is actually not really more. It's more scientific. It's based on scientific data versus a curated system. So I'm intrigued to see a little bit more about what they're going to stage. I think I want to see something else. I want to see a little bit more before I make too much of a judgment on it. Currently, it looks good. There are aspects to it I am intrigued with. Other aspects to it I'm not intrigued with. But it's definitely what I wanted to see. I wanted to see something, and they did that.
Good to hear. Good to hear. It is.
You're leaving it on there, so when Paul comes back, he's going to see VJ's comment. Is that I say?
Yeah, it's nice to see VJ in chat. It is. Hope you're feeling okay, VJ. But yeah, he's there's Indie Game. We're trying to see if he's seen the Silk Song news.
No, VJ hasn't seen the Silk Song. He's not interested. He told me. He said
he's never heard of it.
Yeah, he's too busy looking for League of Legends.
Yes, but yes, it'll be interesting when Starfield and Redfall eventually Redfall eventually comes out, and then we can see what it's all about. but it looks interesting.
Yeah, I think Starfield's good. I just want to see a bit more of it before I full on.
I saw that, VJ.
There we go. Seen it. There you go. I can hide it now. There we go.
Let's start with me. Let's see.
Is that the pineapple pizza?
It's right, a whole crate of the stuff. So I don't know how well I can do this. So
Look at that.
even though I'm hungry, you got a nice Xbox shirt.
That's nice.
And we got, let's see.
What else
the things you get for being friends with Phil, eh?
They get everything, don't they?
By the way, the packing protective is apparently my restraining order from Phil that's been shredded. So there you go. Nice Xbox. And this is actually not just more than Xbox. This actually notates the summit, the community summit for this year. So.
Oh, nice. See, Luke, you've got influence in it.
Yeah.
Paul's influence. Huh? Look, you're getting packages from Xbox.
Send those to me, Paul. I'll look after them.
We have.
How big huge that box is there?
Look at that. Look at that. It was 12 pounds, by the way. 12 pounds exactly. A Xbox Throw.
Nice. Oh, I didn't know you could buy that. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll be rubbing that up against his naked body later on tonight.
Oh, and here are the big prizes. Well, here's a couple of...
Series X. We're going to pull out a Series X now.
So we have the Vectrex wired controller.
Ooh.
Nice. Wow. That's good.
I wanted to see the prices too.
Oh.
Try it out. Oh, did I hear you say you wanted me to throw your Xbox?
And then we have, let's see, what else? The matching Vectrex headset.
Nice.
Which I'm actually probably going to end up handing off to Scorpion because he needs one. He needs a pair. And I have two headsets here already. I only have one head, don't need two headsets. You know. Or three headsets.
As soon as you say that, you're going to break one.
I know, that's what I'm afraid of, actually. And of course, then the sport bag, Xbox sport bag. So there you go.
That's good.
That's a nice little package there.
Goes well with the backpack I got from last year. So there you go. Yeah, or the fridge, the Xbox fridge.
Unfortunately, due to legal reasons, show you the big brown paper bag with about $10,000 in it.
Oh. So there you go. That's it. Not bad. Shirt, sweatshirt. Actually, that's great. What was that?
Did you say it was supposed to be a secret? You're not supposed to tell anybody what's in it?
Yeah, I wish there was something in it.
I mean, you are streaming, right?
Yeah, I'm still streaming.
So if it's a secret, you give it away.
It's not a secret.
Well, because everybody else has anyway. So
Okay.
I've seen like 43 pictures of all this stuff in the last 2 days.
Okay. So
And they said
you knew what you were getting. So you knew what you were
Well,
getting.
we had said in our Discord that we were gonna not spoil anybody. And then if you look at Twitter, you'll see spoil after spoil after spoil. It's like, really? It's just like
Yeah, but only you got the Xbox themed thong.
yeah, that's
That's
it.
the one he didn't show.
That's the one thing he's not going to show.
Yeah, the Xbox banana hammock. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
But that's nice, though. It's a nice package. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, not bad at all.
The
Nice
joy
little bit of
being
swag.
Phil's friend.
Yep. Are you kidding? Clowns has met Phil. I haven't met Phil. Clowns has been in parties with Phil's. I haven't. So, Clowns is the man you got to hit
but
up.
did Clowns get a nice box of goodies?
He got the jersey. He got the jersey from Summit or from FanFest, and he got some other swag, I think, too, because he was a VIP.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh. But yeah, I've got my nice little travel bag now. This will come in handy next year when I actually go to Seattle. There you go.
There you go, peeps.
Nice.
We've
It's a
got an
nice
unboxing
package there.
straight on the show.
Influencers, you see, they get everything, you see. But yeah.
Yep.
Good addition that was. But yes, is there anything else anyone wants to talk about for showcases? Anyone? Anything else?
Any news that's come out that you kind of desperately wanted to talk about? Dun, 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 dun.
Nah.
You just want to go and
thinking
play
that.
with your boxes. That's what it is.
That's what
all
it is. Yeah.
Do you think of anything,
I
Luke?
don't.
Anything you wanted to say that you haven't said?
I think the game that I thought was my game of that Xbox Bethesda show was actually Diablo 4, which I just thought looked
that looks
incredible.
pretty good. That looks pretty awesome, actually.
Just an amazing showing for it, and just kind of the dream Diablo game, really, for me, anyway. I thought that was awesome, and
it's the one game that's it's got people confused. It has that one because it's the one game where they said every game in the showcase is in Game Pass. Then that looks like
no. They never said that. They never said that. All but 2 of the games that they showed are going to be in Game Pass, but they never said that all of them are going to be there. That is a misrepresentation.
Their socials did say it. So that's the problem.
Not Xbox's socials did not say it. No.
Well, some confusion somewhere. But saying that though, if you watch the video and you watched it, it doesn't say it's in Game Pass. So if you actually watch it,
it doesn't say
that.
No.
And I understood that straight away. But then people kept saying every game that's in it's in Game Pass.
No.
It doesn't say it is. Because he would have said day 1 in Game Pass, wouldn't he? Didn't say that, did he?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If this big deal goes through eventually, it will end up in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. But not right. Not that it needs it because it will sell gangbusters.
Wow, this thing is, just so you know, this thing is packaged like the Elite controller. Got a nice little case and everything.
So heavy.
Yeah, it is heavy actually.
Diablo 4 yet, Luke?
What was that? Sorry.
Can you pre-order Diablo 4 yet?
Oh, I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
I think you can pre-register or something for it.
Yeah, you can pre-register because they're going to have a beta at some point. So hopefully I'll get into that. I mean, I put a lot of hours into free in particular, so hopefully I'll get into that. But it's just all about PC when it comes to Diablo, I think. Even though it does play well on controller, it's no substitute for the keyboard and mouse with that style of game.
That's why it needs mouse and keyboard to put on the Xbox.
When they go, years ago, you have a mobile, don't you?
Oh, with Diablo Immortal. Yeah.
No,
you all have.
Not
you all
the
have
recent
mobiles.
one. You know, years ago when it announced it and got all the hate. You have a mobile, don't you?
Yeah. Well, the Diablo Immortal was the one that when they announced it, they said to the BlizzCon audience, "Well, you have mobiles, don't you?" So,
how to kill the audience in just 3 or 4 syllables.
You have a mobile, don't you?
Which was probably the worst comeback I think I've ever heard a developer say. Like to a specific audience, a hardcore Blizzard PC fan base, to say that was really insulting at the time.
PC fan base, get yourselves a mobile. Chop.
Just don't worry about all of the stuff. You've grown up with all of our games, playing them on PC. Get yourself a mobile. You better play a new Diablo game. Just a joke, really. In fact, someone who did an open question and answer.
That's
with
right.
The
it's
audience.
Just an early April Fool's joke.
Yeah, exactly. The first guy.
What's his name? The red shirt guy. I can't think.
I can't remember. But he was the first guy to ask a question and said, "Is this an early April Fool's joke?" So that was a bad year for Blizzard. That was a really bad year for them. To
be fair, they've had some bad years.
Yes, they have. This one is also not a great year with far with Immortal, but
But it is definitely, it was one of the ones actually. I went, ooh, no, I've played Diablo 3. I really enjoyed
I
it.
have
And I
too.
completed it.
On the 360.
No,
but
I didn't. 3 was my first one.
Actually, Luke won't be surprised. Yet again, I didn't complete it.
How do you not complete Diablo? It's not even that long.
It isn't, to be honest with you. It's not exactly. But you know what Stubbs is like. If it's not Gears, he's not really interested.
I haven't played Gears in months. You know. But hey, I know it's not gaming related, but Microsoft caused a storm around the world, didn't they? For security teams all around the world. They're ending support for Internet Explorer. They are very soon.
You love it.
Oh, I bet there's a lot of schools and NHSs that are like, what do we do? All you got to do is move to Edge. They're all panicking around the
Some
world.
systems can't allow that, though. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Especially the NHS.
But they haven't given them long to sort it, have they?
To be honest with you, the NHS has its own major problems regardless. They really, to be honest with you, they should have moved systems years ago. You know, it's...
I remember, do you remember,
it's a system that's... Go on.
XP, the companies were actually paying Microsoft to actually keep XP patches going for a few years.
Well, the problem being is that the core XP was implemented as like an update, and then all they've done is they've just patched over it, got other people to patch over it, add bits to it, to the point it's become its own immortal beast in some systems. And so the time in which to transfer all that data isn't a nice smooth ride. It's also almost like a manual input. And so if they can pay Microsoft to keep it going as long as possible before they are physically having to get someone to type in thousands and thousands of data to the new system, they're going to try and do that.
It's gonna happen even when it's Explorer. They're gonna try.
It is, yeah. The systems themselves, trust me, the systems themselves are crashing on a regular basis. It's just tripping over themselves.
When you hear NHS staff talk about computers, you think you'd be able. The way they talk about how to work the computer, like the old crow huddle.
I've seen them.
It's like you lot would really be easy to like click the wrong link and the whole thing would be down.
Just so you know, I'm ready for my shooters. We got hair triggers again. Hey, baby.
Nice. Sorry about that.
But I was going to say about XP. The only thing is it cannot be online. It is a security nightmare if it gets on the internet.
NHS
this is one of the reasons why they have problems.
Yep. Yeah. So any company that's still using it, they're supposed to not be using it. Anything that has access to the outside world, it's supposed to be just internal.
They've probably
it's technically now, in depending on the NHS that you work in, is technically two systems running parallel to each other, and this is one of the reasons why they have problems, because those systems don't talk to each other.
Nope.
And unfortunately, I've seen what my missus works on, and I tell you what, it's just like her mobile phone would be a better system.
Wow.
At this stage now, her mobile phone is much more secure.
The scary thing is, it's a lot of our financial systems that still have those XP systems working behind the walls.
I was surprised about that. Yeah, there is a lot of financial systems that are still, and I'm surprised because you'd think they would have migrated over a hell of a lot sooner.
They got cheap. They didn't want to. They got cheap.
But the question is, at some point, they're going to have to go through that process. And
at some point,
it's going to be horrendously expensive. Do you think they're going to try and wait until the cloud itself is up to a much more feasible situation upon which then they can?
They're going to wait till they absolutely have to. Is what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, because manual typing all that information across is just going to be
Because, like you said, this is something they should have been working on a long time ago, and it's going to be they're not going to do it until they absolutely have to, and then they're going to go, "Well, we need another 2 years," and you're going to go, "Oh crap,"
2 years, Jesus, and the rest. It is. If you ever wanted to see history in action, look at an NHS computer.
Yep. Oh, it's just
That's
as bad over here, dude. It's just as bad over here.
It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know why, and it's just it's a weird dichotomy where you're just looking at something so horrendously ancient right next to the mobile phone, which is just plowing through even the most simplest things.
Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, sorry to bring that up. Just thought I'd quickly mention it. But yeah, it's been a fun show tonight. It has. They've got some good opinions about the Xbox Bethesda Showcase, and yeah,
You got to see some unboxing. Yeah,
and we got this.
And look at that.
unboxing.
It's purple. Look at that. It's a beautiful purple.
That's nice. That is.
And it
are you
also
going to be
comes with a
streaming
white
with
shell.
that?
Oh yeah, because it's wired and it's supposed to be like really, really fast. It's gonna. What's funny is I almost had to buy another controller because my main controller puked out the other day. The right shoulder button stopped working. So, but I knew this package was coming, and I went, well, maybe there's a controller in it. So I held off on buying anything new until I got this package. So, of course, then I got spoiled, and it leaked out what we were getting. I was like, I'm glad I held off. Yeah.
Exactly.
And how is that with how is that controller going to be? Are you going to do a little bit of a test to see if it's okay in terms of flexibility?
Oh yeah.
For you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Especially with the hair trigger controllers, I'm going to find some shooter to go shoot somebody in the face. There you go.
Oh
yeah.
yes, Paul. I wanted to mention something. Have you watched Animated Evil's recent reviews?
No, I have not.
Because he includes accessibility now as well.
Yeah, I know, because we were talking about it, and he said he was going to do that. And he sent me a file to look at, and I was hoping I haven't heard from him in the last couple of days. I never got the file. We got the email situation worked out where I do get his emails, but he didn't resend the file. So he probably thinks I'm ignoring him. Or not you. Animated. Animated sent me some stuff.
You could, because it's exactly the same thing that happened to me and you.
I know, everybody's sending. Yeah, you need to resend your stuff too. So
you said you got it.
No, I got the email, not the actual message. I got the second email. I don't know what's up with that email box, but.
All right, so you didn't get the actual attach. Well, it wasn't an attachment. It was just basically effectively an email with all the information.
Nope, never got that.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't tell you what that's about, unfortunately. But Cerebral's helping me out with something.
Yeah.
Well, actually, hopefully it's something. Cerebral's helped me out on something that's hopefully will help other people, which will help him.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I can't tell you about it yet.
Everybody helps everybody, you know.
Exactly.
That's nice.
Yep. But it is to do with accessibility, so
yeah.
Hopefully this will help a few more people out, and hopefully that it's going to be. Should I say, just in case?
If you want to, yeah.
Effectively, I'm trying to, because it's one of the things that I asked, and I know Cerebral's been talking about it, is accessibility in games and for reviewers, and he has asked numerous people to put accessibility in reviews. And the query or the barrier he's come up against is most people say, well, we don't know what to look out for. And that's, in some cases, a bit of a fair question, but it also is a little bit of a cop-out in my mind. So I went, right, let's see what I could find. I had a bit of a tough time struggling to find it. So I'm putting together a guide for reviewers with the help of Cerebral Paul and caniplaythat.com, who's been a grateful resource, and Google. I'm trying to put together a review guide of a semi-breakdown, much more simplistic, of some really good points for reviewers to look out for, so that they could potentially add it into their reviews. So that at least, at the very least,
even if it's just a general overlook of it, because you may not understand what works and what doesn't, but you can say, hey, look, it's got these colorblind modes. Hey, look, it's got this, dyslexic text mode, because the query has a for dyslexic people, it has a font that it uses that makes it easier for them to read. And that's only the second game I've seen that has that. So that's something that's starting to come about. So I'm hoping that people like Removable will start to be able to just simply look at the list and go, check here. Oh, it's missing this. Could it have used this? Maybe, maybe not. You know, and you'll learn what works better for what games and what doesn't. You know, because like I've said before, not every accessibility mode works for every game. You know.
No.
a God mode in Mortal Kombat 11 would be fun for me, but not so much for those who had to fight against me. So that's not something that works. But things like easier combos, which I'm hoping Killer Instinct brings in because they've said they were gonna make the controls a little bit easier. So, but things like that. So hopefully over time, reviewers like Removable and things like that will start to just by default know what they're looking at a base level and say, okay, it has these four accessibility features, and here's what you can expect.
Yeah, it's to
sounds
try
really
and bring
good,
it into. Yeah, it's trying to kind of make it as part and parcel of your review. I'm going to make the effort to be, as I said to Cerebral, I'm now making the effort as it's part of my reviews generally, regardless. And it was just
Right.
like if I struggled to find maybe just a little checklist, then other people were, and I thought, well, there's no point people just say, oh, I can't find it. So I went and said, right, bugger it, I'm going to do something, and thankfully Cerebral's going to help me out with this as well.
Right.
And
there's also a list that's there's also a site that's Microsoft has that. If you haven't found that yet, I'll have to get that link for you.
No, please do, because I want to try and link in some other sources as well. And again, it's just to try and make it so it's a little bit easier for reviewers. And then there's no excuse of, I don't know what to look for. It's like, well, here's a list. Bam, there you go.
And that way, because like I've said all along, I think aside from like graphics quality, frame rate, gameplay, there should be one in there that says accessibility and give it a score. Figure out, that way people can start to look at that and go, oh, okay, so it's got a high accessibility score. Like Psychonauts is off the charts. So is The Last of Us 2. In fact, so are the last couple of Forza games have kick-ass accessibility. So you start to realize what you're looking at, and then it becomes natural and it becomes a part of the everyday conversation.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of putting it at the beginning of my review, so people don't have to go through the entirety of the review and say, well, if it's not accessible to me, what's the point of going through the entire review? They can go through it, but it's right there at the beginning just to say, look, and again, a bit like caniplaythis.com, who are also very good at that. It's
right.
Just
and if you start doing reviews like that, once they get to the point where you understand what you're looking at, maybe you can even get your reviews on their site because they do use outside sources for some of their reviews.
Oh yeah, I actually know Ben Bayliss very well. Here we actually worked together on one of the previous gaming sites before he transferred over to other sites. So he's the deaf guy over. Can I play this?
Yeah,
he's really into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I follow him, and I know he's from part of over there. I think we passed each other. I don't know if he'd know me from Adam, but I know that we have texted back and forth. But
but yeah, so that was the kind of thing that Cerebral's gestically helping me out,
great.
and I'm hoping it will help out. And it's going to be a free resource. It's not going to be behind a paywall thing. It's literally I'll be making it free to everybody.
Yeah.
So it's like
my Cash App is
no,
I'm kidding.
Yeah, but it's just a thing. It's like, look, if I had struggled with it, maybe there was some sort of truth to when people say, well, I can't know what to look for. So it's like, well, all right, fine, here you go.
Well, one of the differences you're trying to learn and look. You're not just going, I can't do that because I don't know. Well, okay, let's take it to the next step. What can we do so you do know?
But that's, if you don't try, you don't do.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a good thing.
As we've taken the show totally off the rails. Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
So how about Starfield, baby? Yeah.
Will it have accessibility options in it?
That's right.
Oh, it was good. That was. I just read something interesting. It was about the Competitions and Markets Authority in Britain are looking at investigating Apple and Google over the browsers are pre-installed.
Oh yeah.
But what I found more interesting was this. I think you lot will like this bit. It says here, it's also accused Apple of blocking the emergence of cloud gaming, where video games are streamed rather than downloaded on its app store, and said it would consult on launching an investigation into that as well. So potential for that. But it doesn't mean no at this point. You're just looking at investigating it. But they're not wrong. That's what they are doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
will it come of it?
But we will see. We will. Anyway, It's been a good show tonight, and thanks, Luke, for coming on.
Yeah, pleasure as always.
Do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, all the usual places. But
He
specifically,
sounds exasperated. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. Okay,
Fine.
look.
well, the list is getting longer. That's the problem. So
I know.
I'm
Oh,
just
trust me, I've been there. I've been there a lot.
So just follow me on Twitter at steele90, and you'll see all the things that I do. I'll leave it at that.
That is, thanks for coming on. And Removable Sanity, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much. It's obviously great to have Luke on. It's fantastic to see him again. I'm sure we'll have him on again many, many more times, especially when now that he's been officially anointed as the person to talk to when,
He's actually,
other people are starting to bugger off.
He's actually an official panel member of, when I do them, we're doing them once a month. He's actually a panel member of my Roundtable Gaming podcast that we're doing once a month. But I'm still organising when, but it'll be once a month, that will be. But he's actually a panel member on there.
See? He's everywhere, that man. He's literally everywhere.
Main man. He is.
Yeah. But no, thank you for obviously having him on. Fantastic to have Caesar Cerebral on and showcasing his lovely controller for us. It was always nice to see some unboxing. Hopefully he'll do it again next week with something else, but maybe just not Grood, not pineapple pizza or anything like that.
And what you couldn't see, I was unboxing in my boxers. So just so you know.
That's for OnlyFans. So please join Cerebral at onlyfans.com. But it's fantastic, obviously, to have a chat and a conversation. If you're bored, you can follow me on Twitter, Minds. I also have a YouTube channel which is dedicated to reviewing indie games on the Xbox platform. So feel free to have a look at there if you also are a little bit bored. But again, thank you to all.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. And Cerebral Paul, probably just drop his Twitter link because he's everywhere.
Actually, yeah. If you can follow me on Twitter, Cerebral Paul 1, and the first post has all my links, which is now also in the chat. There it is. Take that link, and it will take you to a page that shows you all my links and all the shows I'm on throughout the week. So that's the best way to find me, right there. Yeah. I need to improve the picture on there, but that'll give you all the information for the different nights on the different shows I'm on and such. So there you go. Sweet and easy.
Yep. Thanks for coming on, Paul. And if you're listening after the fact, or if you're in chat, please drop us a comment in the comment section on YouTube. It really helps. Drop a like. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. And if you do leave us a review, please screenshot it and DM it to me, and I'll give you a shout out for doing so. It really helps the algorithm. It does. We've been getting people from countries like India, Belgium, obviously America and UK, but it's really fun to see people from different countries listening to the show. It really is. Download networks, I really like to see it. It's really. We also have listeners in Australia as well. It's quite interesting. It is. I can't tell on YouTube, obviously, but we can. It's mainly America and UK and Canada on YouTube. On the podcast network, we seem to get people from further afield. We do, but it's all fun. It's all good. Everyone hears the conversation. But thanks, everyone, and we will see you next Wednesday. We will. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next